Good afternoon and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where we are going to once again, you guessed it, continue to read Moby Dick. So, let's get going. Cook, cried Stubb, collaring him. I won't have that swearing. Talk to 'em gentlemanly. Once more the sermon proceeded. Your voraciousness, fellow critters, I don't blame ye so much for. That is nature, and can't be helped. But to gobber in that wicked nature, that is de pint. You is sharks, sartin. But if you gobber in de shark in you, why then you be angel? For all angel is nothing more than de shark well gobbened. Now look here, brethren, just try once to be Sybil, helping yourselves from that whale. Don't be tearing de blubber out your neighbour's mouth, I say. Is not one shark do right as toda to that whale? And by gore, none on you has the right to that whale. That whale belong to someone else. I know some of you has very big mouth, bigger than the others, but then the big mouths sometimes has the small bellies, so that the bigness of the mouth is not to swallow with, but to bit off the blubber for the small fry of sharks. That can't get into the scrounge to help themselves. Well done, old fleece, cried Stubb. That's Christianity. Go on. No use going on. The damn villains will keep a scrounging and slapping each other. Massa Stubb, they don't hear one word. No use of preaching to such damn guttons, as you call them, till their bellies is full, and their bellies is bottomless. And when they do get 'em full, they won't hear you then, for then they sink in the sea, go fast to sleep on the coral, and can't hear nothing at all, no more, for ever and ever. Upon my soul, I am about of the same opinion, so give the benediction, Fleece, and I'll away to my supper. Upon this, Fleece, holding both hands over the fishy mob, raised his shrill voice and cried, Cussed fellow critters, kick up the damnedest row as you ever can, fill your damn bellies till they bust, and then die. Now, Cook, said Stubb, resuming his supper at the capstan, stand just where you stood before, there, over against me, and pay particular attention. All attention, said Fleece, again stooping over upon his tongs in the desired position. Well, said Stubb, helping himself freely meanwhile, I shall now go back to the subject of this steak. In the first place, how old are you, Cook? What that do with the take, said the old black testily. Silence. How old are you, Cook? About 90, they say, he gloomily muttered. And you have lived in this world hard upon 100 years, Cook, and don't know yet how to cook a whale steak? Rapidly bolting another mouthful at the last word, so that morsel seemed a continuation of the question. Where were you born, Cook? In the hatchway in ferryboat, going over the Roanoke. Born in a ferryboat? That's queer too. But I want to know what country you were born in, Cook. Didn't I say the Roanoke country? He cried sharply. No, you didn't, Cook, but I'll tell you what I'm coming to, Cook. You must go home and be born over again. You don't know how to cook a whale steak yet. Bless my soul, if I cook another one, he growled, angrily turning round to depart. Come back here, Cook. Here, hand me those tongs. Now take that bit of steak there and tell me if you think that steak cooked as it should be. Take it, I say, holding the tongue towards him. Take it and taste it. Faintly smacking his weathered lips over it for a moment, the old negro muttered, Best cooked steak I ever taste. Juicy, very juicy. Cook, said Stubb, squaring himself once more, do you belong to the church? Passed one once in Cape Town, said the old man sullenly. And how you have once in your life passed a holy church in Cape Town, where you doubtless overheard a holy parson addressing his hearers as his beloved fellow creatures, have you, Cook? And yet you come here and tell me such a dreadful lie as you did just now, eh? Said Stubb. Where do you expect to go to, Cook? Go to bed very soon, he mumbled, half turning as he spoke. Avast, heave to. I mean when you die, cook. It's an awful question. Now, what's your answer? When this old black man dies, said the negro slowly, changing his whole air and demeanour, he himself won't go nowhere, but some blessed angel will come and fetch him. Fetch him? How? In a coach and four as they fetched Elijah. And fetch him where? Up there, said Fleece, holding his tongue straight over his head and keeping it there very solemnly. So then you expect to go up into our main top, do you, cook, when you are dead? But don't you know the higher you climb, the colder it gets? Main top, eh? Didn't say that at all, said Fleece, again in the sulks. You said up there, didn't you? And now look yourself, and see where your tongues are pointing. But perhaps you expect to get into heaven by crawling through the lubber's hole. Cook. But no, cook, you don't get there, except you go the regular way, round by the rigging. It's a ticklish business, but must be done, or else it's no go. But none of us are in heaven yet. Drop your tongues, cook, and hear my orders. Do you hear? Hold your hat in one hand, and clap t'other atop of your heart, when in giving my orders, cook. What? That your heart there? That's your gizzard. Aloft, aloft. That's it. Now you have it. Hold it there now and pay attention. All dention, said the old black, with both hands placed as desired, vainly wriggling at his grizzled head as if to get both ears in front at one and the same time. Well then, cook, you see this whale steak of yours was so very bad that I have put it out of sight as soon as possible. You see that, don't you? Well, for the future, when you cook another whale steak for my private table here, the capstan, I'll tell you what to do so as not to spoil it by overdoing it. Hold the steak in one hand, and show a live coal to it with the other. That done, dish it, do you hear? And now, tomorrow, cook, when we are cutting in the fish, be sure you stand by to get the tips of his fins. Have them put in pickle. As for the ends of the flukes, have them soused, cook. There, now you may go. But Fleece had hardly got 3 paces off when he was recalled. Cook, give me cutlets for supper tomorrow night in the mid-watch. Do you hear? Away ye sail then. Halloa! Stop! Make a bow before you go. Avast, heaving again. Whale balls for breakfast, don't forget. Wish by gore. Whale eat him, stead of him eat whale. And breast if he ain't more of shark than Massa Shark himself, muttered the old man, limping away, with which sage ejaculation he went to his hammock. So, that is the end of the episode. A little bit earlier than I was expecting, if I'm completely honest. So I think we will try and do another drawing in the time that we've got left. So we've done the cliff. Let's do the ladder. I should say it's a very rambling book, isn't it? It doesn't get to the point at all very quickly. A lot of old-fashioned word usage as well. Which you wouldn't get away with these days. And for good reason. But we are reading the book as it was written. Or trying to. It's very difficult to actually read it half the time. Certainly out loud and while I'm trying to read it as I go. That's the difficult part I'm finding. Is that trying to read it as we go with so many strange usages of words. Should be done just in time. So I think I'm going to say, well, I'm going to wait until we are done, but then we will be saying our goodbyes. Come on. There we go. So, where is it? It's back there, right. So, there we go. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow with more of The Longing. Goodbye.